snap. Smith is going to have to go all the way back. He didn't secure it. It's still loose. It's still loose. Rolling all the way back. This ball is still loose inside the 20. Who wants the football? It is finally recovered by Louisiana Tech back at the 7. The greased pig off the snap. If you said this first half was bananas, that play summarizes it all.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Tigers Roar. I am Tommy Krysan along with Jordy Holberg.
Yes,
sir,
sir,
how are you as we get to the middle of September?
Middle of September, we got football to talk about. LSU takes care of business against Chattanooga. Now it's, I think, the real season begins. The SEC road wars begin. Traveling to Mississippi State and Starkville, going to be a tough matchup.
You know, LSU's dominated the thing with State over the years, although lately it's been kind of close. Dak Prescott, the only win for Dan Mullen a couple of years ago, and heck, he got them ranked number one in the nation.
That's right.
I mean, that says a lot right there about Dan Mullen and this program. You know, they're 2-0, like LSU's 2-0. We saw that unbelievable play, which we're going to talk about.
I've never seen
tonight.
that before.
No,
ever.
We've seen a lot of football games. I've never seen third and 93.
This is what I loved about it. They had a great third down play. 21-yard reception, left them with 4th and 72. I've never seen that before.
Oh, man. But anyway, hey, they played Name That Score with Chattanooga. A lot of guys got in the game. 20 true freshmen have played. 10 offense, 10 defense. That leads the nation. Coach Orgeron kind of hinted to everybody he's not afraid to put somebody on the field, get them out there and play. And that says a lot for future recruiting because you're thinking, hey, if I go there, I might get on the field quicker than if I go somewhere else.
We'll talk with Mike Scarborough later on in the program. I don't think there was any accident whatsoever that they had the number one dual-threat quarterback on campus and they threw the ball deep down the field 4 or 5 times. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think there was a direct correlation between the two.
Speaking of Mike Scarborough coming on, it's not often that in the middle of September we talk LSU basketball, but Will Wade continues to impress. A big 6'10", 5-star guy out of New Jersey.
If he can be as good
Cook
as the last recruit from New Jersey,
teammate.
My teammate, may rest in peace, Greg Cook, then the Tigers have got themselves a player.
Yeah, I remember, man. I remember hearing stories about Greg Cook in the field house before things started. And
we could spend a whole
you could
show.
tell stories for 4 hours.
I text messaged Will Wade to congratulate him. I said, can you come on my radio show today? He said, I'd love to. However, I'm in the state of Florida recruiting. I'm flying around. I've got 3 visits to 3 different spots today. So he's hustling. He's getting after it.
You said it. I've heard other people say it. He's done more before ever coaching a game of any other coach hired by LSU. And if this all transcends into good stuff and wins on the basketball floor, people are going to be going to the PMAC. I said it on the radio. You know, you got your core supporters that are going to go to the LSU basketball game no matter what. They could be 0-20 and they go to the game.
That's right.
This is going to reinvigorate those other fans who are going to say, hey, you know what, I got to go now. And they're going to end up filling the PMAC.
That's exactly right. And you fill that place up, it gets pretty loud. Speaking of filling up a place, Wade Davis Stadium, they closed that other end. They used to have the biggest scoreboard in the world on one end. The other end was empty. Now they've got 2 of those bad boys, and it's all closed up. They hold about 63,000 people. And as I talked to someone that I know in that area, they said, tell your fans, bring the earplugs because the cowbells are there. The cowbells are there. It's going to be a very difficult environment, I'm telling you.
Well, you know, many years ago, Chris Warner, a noted author, used to do some radio, TV, and Baton Rouge. He had that book, Sports Quotes, all about SEC stuff. And I said something on the radio one day that wasn't trying to become quoted years ago. And Chris called me like the next day, and he says, I want your permission to put your quote in the book about Starkville.
What was it?
And it was just something I came up with. I said, one day last week, I spent a month in Starkville.
There you go.
And it was in the quote book, and he had my name in it. I'm in there with all these other legends of SEC. I'm like, but he just thought it was a perfect line. One day last week, I spent a month in Starkville. And if you've ever been there, you know what I mean.
No, it's really, come on. It's really a nice town now. Back when I was playing, there was nothing. Nothing. But it's a good college town now. But as Skip Bertman said, a tornado came down Main Street of Starkville and created $1 million in improvements.
As he said, there's only one beauty parlor in Starkville, and they only give estimates. Anyway, we can do that all night long.
Hey.
But it is Mississippi State week. It comes with the territory. Now, let's tell you what we got on tonight's edition of Tigers Roar. We got Bill Martin. Lake Charles Barb High School guy, big baseball fan. He likes the Cardinals, by the way, which I know makes you happy. Bill is in his 4th year, believe it or not, as a communications director at State. He spent many a year at LSU, did a great job always, and he has joined us on this program before. We'll have Bill Martin coming up a little bit later in the program to talk about that fumble you saw in the beginning of the show against Louisiana Tech, the 87-yard loss. Bill will talk about that. He'll talk about Dan Mullen. He'll talk about Mississippi State and the matchup with LSU. As we mentioned, we'll also have Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com give you the very latest on recruiting. Jordy mentioned that #1 dual threat quarterback in the country was on the sidelines watching Chattanooga last week. So we got a lot of stuff for you on tonight's program. Lots of Coach O, some players. We've got Dan Mullen. The Saints, do we even want to, Jordy, help me with that. No? We're not.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. That's all I can say.
We'll say that. 12 o'clock Sunday in the Superdome against the Patriots. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to let Coach O recap the win over Chattanooga. Tigers now 2-0 on the young season. We're going to remind you, the original airing of this program each and every week, Wednesday night, replays on the Pelican, replays on the cable, ETEL cable system, I'll get it out, and of course mid-morning Thursday on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting, where you can catch lots of our stuff, sports shorts, the Roger Kadar Show, Tigers Roar, post game, all kind of stuff, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We'll come back with much more after this pause. He's Jordy Hultberg. I'm Tommy Krysan. You
the roar.
Are spreading the roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Do stay with us. Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Kadar here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
Hi, I'm Jordy Hultberg for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com. Continue with Tigers Roar. LSU will travel to Starkville this weekend to take on the Bulldogs. 6 o'clock kick. That'll put the Pelican Sports post-game show with Buddy Sanji and I on the air at approximately 9:15. Your phone calls, your text messages, radio and TV, the internet, the smartphones, the apps. Again, they'll kick it at 6 on the main platform of ESPN. Pelican Sports post-game show immediately following. The TV program will be rebroadcast Sunday morning at 9 and 10:30. So your calls and text messages, that's what it's all about on the post-game show.
6.5-point favorite, LSU going on the road. Does that surprise you?
I guessed I thought it'd be 6 or 7. Buddy and I talked about that on the post-game show last week. I had a caller called in and say, hey, guys, what do you think the line will be? I think that's about right. We'll
the last 3 or 4 have been really, really tight, really close. It surprised me that the spread was that big, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, well, man, line it up and play it.
They know a lot more than I do. I'm sure they're trying to get a lot of money on that side, and so they're pretty smart. That's why the lights are on in Vegas.
Each and every week when we do this show, of course, we recap the week before and we talk about the week coming up. It was the Mocs of Chattanooga. I got a lot of compliments on Jim Reynolds being on the show with us last week. A lot of people said they enjoyed.
We beat the Choo-Choos.
They enjoyed that, the Hall of Fame radio voice of the Mocs. We wanted to let you hear from Coach Orgeron the things he had to say shortly after the win over Chattanooga.
Dave and our whole defensive staff was disappointed on that last drive. Just a lack of mental focus there. We had 5 sacks. Tonight, I thought we rushed the passer well. Special teams, we had a touchdown. We're very pleased with the punt return unit. Actually had 2 touchdowns, but one was called back for a penalty. The kickoff team was, the kickoffs was great tonight by Gamble. We need to still find a field goal kicker. We don't have a guy right now that's going to make the kicks that we want, so we're going to open it up. We're going to compete. We played 19 true freshmen, which we're very proud of. The guys played very well tonight. I give credit to Chattanooga. I thought they had a great game plan. They came out, 3-step drop, moved the ball, ran the ball on us. Those guys competed very hard, and they have a good football team. But on to Mississippi State. We're going to put this one away, watch the film tomorrow, and get ready to play a better football game next Saturday night on the road in Starkville. Any questions?
Coach, was your plan tonight coming in to take more shots down the field, or was that just sort of taking what they gave you?
Kind of take us what they give us. We always want to take shots, but they gave it to us tonight. We did it. Very concerned. I mean, we can't go for it all the time, and we need to get points, and we need to get it fixed fast, and hopefully we can.
You said you'll open it up, but I mean, the guys are who they are, so what do you do?
I don't know. Maybe Arlen can come back next week and kick a field goal.
You said you challenged your team at halftime about the penalties. Was it just a mental thing? Or
I do believe it's a mindset, and it's got to come from me, and I'm not putting up with it anymore.
But a lot of those long passes for Danny right on the money, it seemed like. What did you see at him there earlier, especially?
Very accurate. Very accurate. Did a tremendous job early. The only thing we were disappointed in the red zone, we had a nice little 3 plays that we could have went score, and we wasn't on the money then. Besides that, I thought he was very good.
Coach, your defensive backs made 2 incredible interceptions, almost 3.
Yeah.
Talk about those.
Yeah, really, really proud of those guys. We play tight man coverage. The guys go after the ball. Corey's done a tremendous job with them. We want to get the ball. We have preached all camp about turnovers and winning the turnover margin. Tonight we were +2, so we're +3 for the season. We studied some other teams like Washington that were +18, and guys that were plus 12 that were in the college football playoffs. And to where this team wants to get, we need to be better in our turnover ratio, and right now we're off to a good start.
Those first two drives defensively, it seemed like the guys maybe were not as intense as you wanted them to be coming out of the gate. What did you do on the sidelines to kind of to get them going?
Got after her butt. I mean, it's just, just an eye open. Listen, we've been telling them all week, it's going to be a battle. They're going to come in there, they're going to give us their best shot, but until you go out there and play, they may or may not believe it, but they believed it after the first two drives, I promise you that. And they got going. I was very disappointed in our pass rush to start, and then after that, we got heated up.
Coach, you had a lot of wide receivers get their first catches, first touchdowns, a lot of firsts today for them. How important was it to get that first step for them?
Yeah, we need depth there. We need depth. We like to go four wides, we can't go right now because we don't have enough depth. But Jacoby Stevens, Stephon Sullivan, those guys played very well tonight.
The yardage for passing and rushing was within 10. The attempts weren't the same, but is that the kind of balance you're looking for? Is 232 passing, 222 rushing?
Yes, we'd like to be balanced. We're going to take what they give us, but I thought tonight was a great indicator of being 50-50 and being very balanced. We have to run the football, obviously, we know that, but there's going to be some times where they put too many people in the box where we can't run the football. Danny was tremendous on the shots tonight. I thought Matt did a great job of calling the game tonight. Well, there's some young guys that are getting penalties, but listen, we tell them when you go out there, it doesn't matter. First year, second year, third year, you got to play like a tiger, and that's totally unacceptable. They'll learn a lesson. They'll get better at it.
It seems like Danny has so much success off that play action. He does it pretty well. What do you see in that? How has he gotten better in that play thing?
Well, number one, I think our offensive line is doing a great job of making it look and sound like run. The guys are biting up. Danny's hiding the ball very well, and he's hitting it on the money. I think our receivers, the thing that's lost there, our receivers are running a lot better routes this year. They worked on their feet all summer with Mickey. They're very precise in their routes, and they're catching the ball. I think our receivers are the most improved unit on our football team right now, and it's because of their coaching.
How close are you to getting to that where you can go four wides and feel good about the day?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
You got a lot of, like Darryl and Nick, a lot more touches tonight, spread the ball around. How important was that?
Really important. Nick Brissett, I feel, is a really good back. He's a good zone runner. He hits the hole well. He's got a great running back coach on the Tommy Robinson. I like that the guys get equal reps between Darius and Darryl, and now get Nick in the fold and also Clyde in the fold. And hopefully we can bring Leonard along. You saw him get a rep or two at the end. He has not been healthy, but he's healthy now. We're going to need to use a rotation of backs.
Coach O, you don't know your kicker is right now, but I think you found your punt return tonight. Can you talk about DJ Chark's fantastic returns on one, he hit two of them, fell back, but he looked great tonight.
Yeah, fantastic night. And, give the credit to our coaching staff for drawing up the return. I mean, there were some big holes there, but he has great vision. And, he's a senior. The guy's played a lot of football. He did punt return in high school. He's just starting to learn how to do it. He's getting excited about it. And so I think it was an effort on all 11, but give him a lot of credit, too.
How do you feel about this team right now?
I feel like last week we played a clean game, played about as well as we could play besides the penalties. Tonight I thought we were very spotty, inconsistent, but I'm glad that it happened this week and not next week. So it's always better when you don't play well and you win. They're going to listen to you and make some improvement. So next week's going to be a tough week. It's going to be a tough week in practice. We're going to get some things right, and we're going to be ready to play.
Yeah, was it kind of shocking that the defense didn't play with that much intensity?
Sure it was, and yeah, it was, no doubt. And they'll get it fixed.
Knowing the kind of pressure that you're going to face going down the season, how comforting was it to see Danny's ability to move within the pocket and once he got out of the pocket to extend?
Man, he seems like a different player to me this year. He does. He did a lot of work this summer. He's confident in the pocket. He can do some things. To see him scramble in the long run. There's going to be some times. Now, Mississippi State has a great defensive coordinator. They're going to give him some pressure. And we're going to have to protect. And he's going to have to make some plays with his feet. And I think he can do it.
Coach, you said, I think when Miles scrimmaged in Tiger Stadium for the first time, he was a little nervous. What does it mean to get him out there, play a quarter or so?
Means a lot. He's a play away. Danny gets hurt, he's got to go in there. It means a lot. Anytime we can get him reps, we're going to get it. I thought he did very well tonight.
The decision to go for it on fourth down, was that because of a lack of confidence in your kicker?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You let Coach Miranda pick who was starting. I mean, how happy were you with Greedy being that choice and how he's playing?
Now, he's playing well, got another pick. He's doing a very good job. Greedy's a tall corner with speed, which is hard to find. Again, I think Greedy's an outstanding young player for us right now.
Ed, you have experience playing in Starkville
Mhm.
as head coach. What is it like there? And how do you get your team ready for the
Yeah.
noise and stuff?
Yeah, well, we're going to practice noise. We're going to put the speakers right behind them. We might get a couple of guys to ring some cowbells or something like that. But I got a lot of respect for Mississippi State. They're a hard-nosed football team. That's a tough crowd down there, and you got to play for 60 minutes. The last 2 years we played Mississippi State, it's come down to the last play. We've been ahead, but those guys have come from behind. Dan Maul's an excellent coach. This is going to be a battle.
Coach, it had been a while since you had coached a home opener.
Yeah.
All the way back to when you were at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
How important was it just for you and this team to come in here and have
Yeah.
effort in here?
Yeah, well, it's important for the team, and none have nothing to do with me. I promise you that. But it was a great crowd. I think our guys were really excited. It was the first time a lot of them got to run into Tiger Stadium. But again, they know we need to play better.
One more for Coach. Gotta go.
You played a lot of freshmen. How do you get them to realize the difference between, a relative home game in New Orleans and now SEC on the road?
Yeah, the only way to do it is experience it. Just got to experience, you got to go through it. And, you got to tell them, hey, this is going to be a little bit different. The older guys are going to tell them. There will be no joking around on the sideline. This is going to be a 60-minute game. Every play, it seemed like an SEC game, every play.
As Bob Seger would say, turn the page.
No
now you go
joking
to
around.
Mississippi State, right?
No joking around on the sideline.
He's talking about all that stuff for the game, which many fans were bothered by that, including me. But Jordy, that's a question for you. Kids are different than when you and I played college athletics. Kids are different. And I almost think Coach O and other coaches, they have to tolerate a few things because kids are different, right?
Change with the times, absolutely.
That's why Saban and them dye their hair. They don't want to have, like me, have a head full of gray when they're in an 18-year-old's living room, right?
If they become unfocused and mess up on the field when it counts, then that's when you can rein all that in. As it's going, as long as they stay focused and do what they're supposed to do, I don't mind all that stuff. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and clean up some penalties and find a guy that can kick it between the posts for State, right?
I got a story.
Let's go.
Okay. LSU Power 5 school, a lot, and they're not the only one. Most of them. Name one Power 5 school that you can think of that has, as a part of their coaching staff, someone that actually kicked a field goal once or twice in their life. I've never understood that. A very important aspect of the game. And Ed Orgeron says we're opening up the competition with Connor Culp and Jake Gonsolin. Who do they go to? Ed Orgeron never kicked a field goal in a game. McMahon, the special teams coordinator, never kicked a field goal in a game. I mean, what do you do? Why don't they, they bring in Jerry Sullivan as a consultant for wide receivers? I'm all for that. Why don't they let one of those former kickers, a Drew Alleman or a whoever, Jasper, whoever,
David Brown Dyke, yeah.
whoever, come in there and consult and talk to these kids. Look at film. Pay them a little bit. Make sense?
Makes a whole lot of sense to me. You got the staff limitations, but, and these kids go to
not with these consultants, there's no limitations.
Kicking camps in the summer, but, it's all about happening on a Saturday night in the fall. We'll see.
Just one of those things. Just a suggestion.
Well, there's been a lot of free throw shooting coaches that work with free throw shooters.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mental guys with pitching who work on pitching and not throwing. So, I mean, maybe they need to bring a kicker or two
Maybe
around.
he's got some former kickers coming in there and helping him. I don't know. It would just seem that would be prudent.
I think I've never kicked a field goal either, but a lot of it's mental, just like free throws. When you, with times when you knew it coming out of your hand, it was in.
Sometimes it's that technique, and maybe you're not planting that foot in the right angle that you're supposed. Maybe you're swinging those hips too quickly, like a golf swing.
Right.
So I wouldn't know, but someone who's kicked in pressurized
David Brown
situations
and them
would
guys
know.
would know.
Would know.
Drew Alleman would know. I know
know.
you had him on the radio the other day.
He only kicked 3 field goals in the game of the century, including one in overtime to win it.
To beat
that's
that
pressure.
team in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that's pressure. Just a thought. Just a thought.
It's a good thought, I think. Just like the bye should be after Alabama.
Well,
you don't know how many people I've told that since you told me that a couple of years ago. And I'll give you credit. I say Jordy Hultberg told me this, and I agree with it 100%. The bye should be after Bama, not before.
Got LSU administrators who admitted and agreed to that.
We'll wait for that a little bit later in the year. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Coach O getting you ready for Mississippi State. It's conference time, and it's Mississippi State.
Nick Fitzgerald, pretty good.
Very good. We'll do all of that when we return after this pause on Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
Continue with Tigers Roar. Don't forget the YouTube channel on Thursday mornings, mid-morning. It'll be up there, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. In case you missed it or you missed part of it, watch it at your convenience and tell everybody about that.
Trivia question for you.
Okay.
I'm not this kind of person, all right, but when's the last time LSU lost a game in Starkville? in football.
1999.
That's a long time ago, man. That's
Pushing 20 years.
That's 8 trips. 8 trips going back and winning and beating them like big time, a lot of times. So keep that in mind.
Well, it's conference week. It's also conference opener for Mississippi State. They've got 2 wins. They had an easy win, and they beat a pretty good Louisiana Tech team up in Ruston last week, put 57 on the board.
They're averaging 53 a game. I don't care if you're playing against whoever. 53 is 53.
You made the comment. Nick Fitzgerald, their quarterback, he's a big, strong guy with a strong arm who can also move and run a little bit.
I should have told our editors to put a split screen up and take Matt Jones from Arkansas about 10 years ago, whatever it was, and Nick Fitzgerald and just run the video. Spitting image.
I think Fitzgerald just a little bit heavier, but everything else is the same.
You remember Jones? I mean, 5 yards of stride. You couldn't catch him.
Yeah, he hurt LSU.
And he hurt LSU a couple of times.
Yeah, you saw that from the sideline.
Yes.
Earlier this week, Coach Orgeron had his weekly press luncheon where he begins with his opening comments, kind of recapping, talks about injuries. We do want to point out on the Wednesday teleconference, he did declare that Arden Key would start in the game, and Rashard Lawrence, Coach's words were very questionable for the game. But here's from earlier in the week, Coach O meeting with the media.
Welcome, everybody. Seems like we're getting into the season now. It's cranking up. And always love Tell the Truth Monday, especially when we win. We are very excited to walk down that Tiger Walk for our first game. It was an exciting moment. It was packed. I want to thank the fans. It was a great electric atmosphere. And for that, we're very grateful. We're pleased that we won the game. We have some things that we need to get fixed. We didn't play our best game. And but there's some positives on offense that we're really pleased about. Number one, 0 turnovers again. 5 big explosive plays. The play of Danny Etlin. The play of our wide receivers. The way they're catching the football. The plays that they're making. Again, Mickey Joseph is doing a tremendous job with them. On defense, 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions by 2 freshmen, Greedy and Kerry Vincent. Oh, that was a great catch by both of them. 5 sacks, 2 were by Kelevan Chasson. One was the on the grounding. They gave him a sack, and 2 by Corey, who has 4 sacks on the year already. 8 tackles for loss and 4 pass breakups. Special teams, obviously the punt return for 65 yards by DJ. Cameron Gabriel had 3 touchbacks. One of the things that we said that we wanted to fix, and we fixed. Obviously, we need to fix our field goal unit, and we're going to work on it very hard this week and try some different things. It won't be different guys, because those are the guys we have. We'll try different techniques and work very hard with them. We played 20 freshmen this season. For that, we're very proud. Again, we're very proud of this freshman class, and they're playing very well. We'll continue to work on the penalties. We had 10 in the first half, but we're pleased that we addressed it, and we only had 1 in the second half. I think it was a minute 45 left to go on a hard count. So those are the things that we'll continue to work on, and we're going to work very hard on them this week. They're unacceptable. Arden Key has been cleared to play this week. He's going to work hard all week in full contact, and we're going to play him as much as we can. We'll see during the week, see how much he can do. A couple of things. We're +3 in the turnover margin this year with 3 interceptions. That's one of the things that we wanted to get better at. Last year we were at 0. And so we're on our way to making a market improvement there. We need to keep it up against a very tough Mississippi State team. We lead the nation in rushing defense. Again, we're going to have stiffer tests down the road. Dan Mullen, we play Mississippi State, and Billy Gonzalez and John Hevesy. I know all those guys. I have a lot of respect for them. They're excellent coaches. The year I went off, I went to spend some time with Dan, and I watched the way they practice. I spent 3 days when I spoke at their clinic, and have utmost respect the way he recruits and the way he runs his program. Mississippi State is number 1 in the SEC in scoring offense at 53 points a game. We've got a challenge ahead for us. 507 yards per game. I think the biggest thing on their staff is they hired Todd Grantham. He's a guy that I respect. He was at Louisville last year. He's a defensive line coach. He went to the Cowboys. I followed him, studied with him all my years. He's tough. He's aggressive. And I think that you can see that he's making a difference in their football team. Louisville was 14th in the nation in total defense last year. Mississippi State is only giving up 174 yards per game, 10.5 points per game. I think they were giving up close to 30 last year. His pass defense is number one in the SEC at 89 yards per game. Their special teams kickoff return about 20 yards per game. Kickoff average 64.8 yards, 12 touchbacks. Field goal special Tucker Day is 204 and field goal attempts, but he's had 2 blocked. All right, punt return special their punt specialist Logan Cook, 43.5 yards per punt, 12 touchbacks on kickoffs, and their kick returner Keith Mixon's number 23 has a long of 15 yards. We're going to prepare this week an SEC opponent. There should be a different vibe around the building. Our first SEC opponent, a very good SEC opponent, a tough, physical SEC opponent on the road. Most of our guys are healthy. I don't know if Rashard Lawrence will play this week. I don't even know how much he's going to practice this week. That's still questionable. Most of the rest of our guys will play, and obviously we're fired up to have Arden Key back.
No turnovers, and for the most part, they've stayed away from that injury bug. That's a plus, and cut some penalties down, get some field goals.
And don't underestimate the fact that Arden Key's back. And this is the type of thing that Dave Aranda's been waiting on, because now he can scheme and do things, and you're going to see Arden Key here, there, everywhere. And you're going to see him mixed with other players. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lineup out there with 1 defensive lineman and 4 or 5 linebackers and the rest defensive backs, and just bring speed and bring pressure. I think you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. And this will be a big chess match between Aranda when he's on defense and Grantham when he's coaching defense for Mississippi State. 2 pretty good ones.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Arden Key is the kind of player, even though he hasn't played yet this year, that when State breaks the huddle, they're looking to see where is he. And, of course, he'll move around, and he might not be in the same spot when the ball's snapped as he is when they come out of the huddle. But hey, that's the kind of player he is, and that helps the other guys.
Absolutely.
I mean,
single coverage here, double coverage there. It helps.
And what about the mental boost? I mean, you played 4 years at LSU. You had times when somebody came back from an injury because they're your best friends. They're your teammates. I mean, what about the mental boost of the other guys knowing that number 49 is going to run out there?
You've been good so far. You feel like you can be even better now. And when you're going on the road in that environment against that team, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for any eggs you can get. Somebody, okay, you've been in these wars. You got 12 sacks a year ago. Go help us out. Let's get a win.
What's your thing on this whole cowbell thing?
It is what it is.
They changed the rule just for them.
It is what it is. Look, I played, not to bring up, nobody cares about back in the day, but I'd never forget LSU basketball going to Rupp Arena in Kentucky, national television, undefeated in league play, and they moved their entire band and student section right behind the LSU bench. First time in Kentucky history. They were all dressed in tuxedos. If you're good, you can handle it. And we got robbed at the end. It was a great game. They only lost by 1. Howard Carter got fouled in the corner. They never called it, still to this day, and they agree that they missed the call. But anyway, long story short, if you're good, it doesn't matter what the other team brings to the table as far as peripheral noise and all. It doesn't matter. Just go play the game.
Ignore the noise, whatever that may be.
Accept the noise. Accept it.
In this case, a cowbell.
Only thing you got to worry about is your communications, and make sure the offensive line and everybody is on the same page. You get that down, and that's what you practice for, and that's why you bring that John Deere tractor with all the noise and all that stuff all week long. You prepare for it, and you go play.
Here's the other thing. If LSU gets up by 3 touchdowns, those
quiet.
bells aren't going to ring as much, right?
They're going to be hitting each other in the head with it, knocking people out.
They won't be ringing as much. Boy, you brought up one of my favorite LSU basketball players, Howard Carter. That guy could get the ball in the hole, couldn't he?
Oh, he was pretty good. Yeah. Good players make coaches really, really good.
Howard Carter was one of the best.
He could play.
Played overseas for a long time.
Yeah, he's back in town doing great.
Yeah, I saw him a couple years ago. Howard might be watching. One of the all-time greats, one of my all-time favorites. We'll take a break, come back with more. Let you hear Coach O answering some questions from the media. Some really good stuff when we return with more of Tigers Roar, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Krysan, stay with us.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
We would like to remind you about the radio station WUBR, an affiliate of CBS Sports Radio. We're on the TuneIn app. And, of course, we have our own app. It's free. Go to your App Store or Google Play and download WUBR, home of the Jim Rome Show from 11 to 1 Monday through Fridays. The local lineup includes Jordy Hultberg, Buddy Sanji, myself, Dave Scandaliato, Carlos Brown on Saturday mornings, Ken Trahan's Original Prep Report on Friday nights. Louisiana Music Hall of Fame radio, hosted by Mike Shepard. Lots of stuff. Take us with you on the smartphone, wherever you go, the computer, the tablet, whatever it might be. The post-game show is simulcast on WUBR, where you can listen. If you're in Starkville, you can pop it on the smartphone and check it out.
Isn't that cool?
After the game.
That's pretty cool. Modern technology.
Yeah, it's good. And Jordy, you can tell us about your program in the Lafayette and New Orleans markets.
Every day, Monday through Friday, from 2 to 4. 103.7 The Game in Acadiana, Sports 1280 in New Orleans. So give us a shout.
There you go. Lots of radio stuff you can keep up with. Coach Orgeron answering some questions from the media a little bit earlier this week. Again, it's game week. It's conference week. Here's Coach Orgeron.
On your left. Could you just walk us through the process of getting Arden cleared?
Yeah. Jack does all that for me. And Jack does tests. And he's got to pass a couple of tests here and there. And some of them, his strength wasn't up to par. And then every week, the strength and the flexibility was getting better and better, closer to our target. And today he's at that target. And we had planned the whole time that we thought this was a game that he would be ready at. We weren't for sure, though. And obviously he is. He's worked very hard. Obviously, he's a little bit heavier than he played last year, so he's going to have to get in game shape. I'm going to see how he does this week.
Coach, right here, will you have a snap count on him of how many plays you want him to play? Or is it kind of go on how he feels?
See this week, it's the first time, as you guys seen, he's been doing drills. Now he's going to go in teamwork. He's going to take full hits, full contact, and then we're going to see what's happening. But I will say this, Kelvin Chasson had 2 sacks in the game. Is a very formidable backup. We can rotate him if we have to give him breaks. It all depends on his conditioning.
Coach, right here in the back, after kind of taking a look at some of the film, what are the biggest takeaways from Etling's performance and just his overall comfort and poise in the pocket?
First of all, our protection. First of all, the knowledge of the offense. I think Matt is doing, no, I don't think, I know it. Matt is doing a great job of managing Danny. In the spring, Matt did not know what Danny's strengths and weaknesses are like he does now. He knows that the things that he can do with Danny that he does very well. He knows the things that Danny doesn't do very well. We're not doing them. I think that's the difference.
What is your biggest takeaway? Is it a surprise how well your wide receivers have played? And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but what specifically do you think they got from working with Jerry Sullivan?
Yeah. Here's, first of all, the way college football is now, that Mickey is a great coach. He's been all over the place, but he didn't have all that experience coaching wide receivers. So Jerry Sullivan's name came across my desk as a guy that we could use as a consultant to coach Mickey. And Mickey was in open arms. And Jerry did a tremendous job of teaching them not only route concepts, but the techniques within the route concepts and the footwork. And that's what the difference is with our guys, the footwork and the way they run in the routes and the timing between them and Danny. And plus, they're catching every ball we throw them. Stephon had a missed drop. If he'd have caught that ball, it would have been a touchdown, we think. And that's the only drop we had.
Down here in front, what have you thought now through 2 weeks of Greedy, obviously his first time being on the field, and then as a defensive coach or Aranda, how do you manage a guy, Kevin, who started last year and is coming back now with a guy who's playing so well?
It's a good problem to have, obviously, that Greedy waited his turn. Someone blanked. He moved in. And he's holding on to that spot. He don't want to give it up. And that's what we like about competition. There's no sacred spots on our football team. We're going to play the best players regardless of seniority or anything. And we want the guys that are playing the best. And right now, Greedy's doing that.
So kind of building off of that, Corey Thompson's played pretty incredible through these first 2 games. I know last year a lot of times when y'all went to the nickel, that position came off the field. How do you look to keep him on the field more this year so we can continue to?
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, we have a new grouping, which I won't name because Ross will write about it and my opponents will know about it. So I'm just joking, Ross. You do a very detailed job. But we have a new grouping, and we have a new grouping that keeps Corey in the game, and that's what Dave has worked on just for that reason.
Ed, you said you're familiar with Dan Mullen. He's had Tim Tebow at Florida and then Dak Prescott and now Fitzgerald, all big quarterbacks who can run.
Yeah.
What type of problem do those style of quarterbacks give you, and what does Dan do to get the best out of them?
It's interesting because I try to share ideas with other coaches, especially in recruiting. And I said, Dan, you've had success recruiting a lot of quarterbacks. What is the main ingredient you look for in a quarterback? He did not hesitate. Toughness. And that's what this guy is. He's tough. He can run the football. And he can read. And, Dan's a great coordinator. He's seen all the defenses against his zone read, against the offense that he runs. He does a tremendous job of calling plays on the sideline, changing plays on the sideline, and obviously Fitzgerald's very smart.
Yeah. Y'all have had 17 of your
21 penalties been the first half. Can you tell me what's going on with all the early penalties first half?
Yeah, I think we need to settle down a little bit. I think that obviously we're coming out very fired up. We have some young players. I'll give you an example. Xavier Lewis missed the first game. He's so fired up to go hit somebody on the kickoff team. He's offsides, which is not an excuse. We have a lot of shifts and motions. Guys are a little jittery. They're jumping. They're trying to get lined up. The quarterback is giving us a hard count. We want to get a great pass rush. We're jumping off on first down. We shouldn't be doing that. We got to coach them better. I think once we settle down, like we saw in this half, that the guys are more disciplined. So we have to calm them down. Maybe not as many shifts and motions at the beginning. Calm them down. Play the older guys at first, and quit creating all these penalties that put us in negative situations.
Coach, right in front. Could you talk about Fitzgerald a little bit more and the challenges that go along with defending a guy like that, somebody you haven't seen with so many young guys on the field?
Yeah, here's the deal. They do a tremendous job of reading the box, and they're going to take, just like what our guys do, they're going to take what he give you. So if you put too many people in the box, he can throw that football, and they got darn good receivers. He can make the reads on his own reads that he needs to and keep the ball and scramble out the pocket. So he's a good decision maker. He's a good runner, can scramble, and he can throw the deep ball. He's a complete quarterback in my mind.
Coach, noise is going to be a really big factor in this upcoming game. What are you going to do to prepare your guys for it?
Yeah, obviously, I think Matt has a lot of techniques that he uses on the road. We're going to practice them this week. I kind of like playing on the road because on Tuesdays we get our John Deere tractor, and we get it right behind the offense, and we bring some big speakers out, and we kind of play their fight songs and crowd noise and cowbells and all that stuff. But, I respect them. Listen, I've been there many times. I respect the Mississippi State people. They tough, they blue-collar, they hard-nosed. They love their football team. The last time that I was in their stadium, I was amazed about the improvements that they made and modernized that stadium. It's loud, a lot of music, the fans are into it. It's college football, so we're going to respect that. It's going to fire up our guys, but we have to get the snap count down, and we need to get offense going because that's when it's going to be the loudest.
On the left, Coach. On to the kickers. If not having a special teams coordinator, does that complicate at all this process of trying to work through these issues?
I don't think so. I really don't think so because Chris does a tremendous job. Mac watches all the film. He coaches Chris up, and Chris is with him the whole time. I think that they're getting coached by one of the best in techniques available. Coach Mac is watching film at 4 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, only on special teams. We're about as detailed as we've ever been. Before in the past, the special teams coach would be in a defensive meeting room and then go into special teams. This is 24/7 committed to special teams. Obviously, I do believe that you bring up a good point, that if Coach Mack were a full-time coach, they could get coached better. And he will be a guy that I highly consider when the 10th coach becomes available.
Jordy, are you feeling any buzz in town this week when you're bebopping around? I know it's not a home game, but, I mean, it's a conference game. Everybody got to get
more people getting buzzed about Will Wade and what he's doing right now. It will grow. It will grow. I think where you'll see it affected is the Canelo Triple G fight. Not many people will buy that because they're going to be watching the LSU football game. How about that?
I tell you what, we're going to take a break, then visit with an old friend of Jordy and I's. He's the communications director at Mississippi State, Louisiana guy. We've spent many a year working at LSU. We both worked with him closely many times. He's in his 4th year already at Mississippi State. Bill Martin, he will join us when we come back with more of Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
Best turf in the league.
Jaguar Nation, I'd like to say thank you for your continued support of our student athletes and our coaches. Once again, you have shown America we have the greatest fans in the country. It's time. Football season. Season tickets are available. Go Jags.
studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516, 800-718-3516.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Krysan with you. Our pleasure to now be joined by the Director of Communications Office at Mississippi State University, a Louisiana guy, a former, worked at LSU for many, many years. He's in his 4th year already up in Starkville at Mississippi State. Our old friend Bill Martin. Bill, good evening. How are you?
Gentlemen, how y'all doing today?
Yeah, I just want to interject real quick. We're doing great. You know, it's nice to see good things happen to good people. And Bill's just been a great guy. He kind of cut his teeth here in Baton Rouge, and now State was very smart to hire him. Congratulations on your success. But we're coming up there to whip your butt, big guy. I'm sorry.
Thanks for the kind words. It's always
Bill,
a pleasure to talk to y'all.
Bill, certainly we want to talk about Dan Mullen and Mississippi State and the matchup with LSU, but you and I and Jordy have seen a lot of football games, and we saw something that happened in y'all's game in Ruston last week against Louisiana Tech.
Crazy.
The 87-yard fumble. Bill, tell us what you're thinking when you're in the press box and this play, I guess you call it, happens.
Well, first off, we're in the press box, brand new, awesome press box at Louisiana Tech, by the way. It's enclosed. And the play happens, and everybody starts crying, laughing. I don't know if I've ever heard as much laughing in a press box when that play happened, because it was bizarre. Ball goes over the head, and it looks like somebody's going to pick it up or recover it or jump on it, and it keeps going. And I've never seen anything like that. And it's funny, none of the guys after, they all had fun with it. And the kid, C.J. Morgan, our safety, he's actually from Bossier, Louisiana. He had about 15 to 20 family members there, all waiting, ready for this game. And he was the guy, one of the last guys to touch it, could have easily picked it up and run it back. And he had a hard time after the game. And you saw what happened there, but certainly it helped their team rushing defensive totals after the game. But never seen anything like it. Never had to see on a computer or a stat sheet a 3rd and goal on the other side of the field. But that's something we'll probably never see for a while again. And hope
4th and goal, 72 yards away. 4th and goal.
I do want to point out that the Powell guy from Louisiana Tech, he was a wide receiver who ran into the end zone as the ball was being snapped. He's the one
He's the
who
one that recovered.
hustled back to cover up the ball. They say keep going to the whistle blows. He did it.
And you know what? That's a good point, because how many times do you see it? That happens all the way down the field. That the other team's getting it.
Yeah,
But
you're
that's
right.
a very good point.
All right, Bill, Mississippi State, you guys have got 2 games in the books, including a win against a good Tech team in Ruston. What is your take on this team, watching them for 2 games?
Well, one is particularly defensively. This offseason, Dan Mullen hired Todd Grantham. Obviously, his last game, LSU would be very familiar with, having faced them in the bowl game against Louisville in January. But hiring an experienced defensive coordinator who's his 11th year as a defensive coordinator, he preaches the motto of being fast, physical, and aggressive, and he has made some really good moves. We've switched a few guys position-wise. We're playing a guy, number 4, Gary Green, who fans will see played more on the inside at linebacker last year. He's on the outside. That's his more natural position. We have a guy named J.T. Gray who's moved back to safety. And he's made a lot of smart decisions. He's also gotten all the guys on the same page. They seem the chemistry's better defensively. And then 2, we revamped the roster. We signed 13 early enrollees back in January, 9 JUCO guys, the most in school history, and a couple guys who fans are going to become familiar with Saturday night. And number 9, Montez Sweat, who you'll see on the edge, and then 38, Jonathan Abram, a safety. Sweat played at Michigan State as a freshman, and then Jonathan Abram played at Georgia 2 years ago. So a lot of things there, but defensively, this team is back, and of course they've always put up points under Dan Mullen, but the comfort knowing that, hey, you're not going to give up 48 points every night like last year.
You're averaging 53 points a game. I don't know if there's another team in the conference that puts as much pressure or onus on the quarterback and his performance than what Dan Mullen does to Nick Fitzgerald. Would that be accurate?
Very accurate, and that's always been the case under Dan. To play quarterback, you've got to learn and process information very quickly, and particularly under Dan. And if you look at his history of quarterbacks, I mean, you look at Alex Smith, who had a terrific season debut.
Well, he sure did for the Chiefs. Yeah.
Obviously, he coached Cam Newton for 2 years. Obviously, Tim Tebow, and of course Dak. He puts a lot on the quarterback to make plays, decision making. It's not just hand it off to the running back and get it to your skill guys, but just developing quarterbacks in general. And again, he's asked a lot of Nick, and that's one of the things Nick's maturation as a quarterback this year. Of course, everybody knows about his running skills, but he's now a year older, a year wiser, still developing and fine-tuning his passing skills. But it's, as Dan says, making the unspectacular play, dunking it out into the flat, finding a quick read. And those kind of things that don't look, they're not going to be big highlight plays, but those kind of decision-making, that's the kind of thing that Dak did well, and those are the kind of things that make a successful quarterback.
How big is Nick Fitzgerald? Everybody says, big guy, big guy. Give us the numbers. What's his measurements?
He's about 6'5", 230. But the thing that makes him unique at 6'5", 230 is his speed.
Yes.
He runs probably about a 4.55, 4.6. And Dan always talks about being the fastest quarterback he's ever coached. So when a 6'5" guy gets in the open field and breaks away, he's hard to bring down, especially with his speed. And I think part of that is he grew up in Richmond Hill, Georgia, an option-style offense. He maybe threw the ball maybe 90 times his entire high school career, and nobody really recruited him. He was always a runner, but Dan obviously saw a lot in him, and that's his biggest attribute. Is he's hard to bring down in the open field, and I think if you look, he and Darius Geis lead the SEC since the start of last year in explosive runs.
Yeah. Bill Martin, kind enough to join us. For all the LSU fans that are heading to Wade Davis Stadium, it's different. It's enclosed a little bit. You got 2 huge scoreboards. Gets pretty loud with those 63,000 people there.
Certainly, and a lot changed in the start of the 2014 season, the year that State became number 1 for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But that north end zone was enclosed, and it completely changed the dynamic of the stadium from a sound perspective. Both ends were open, but now everything, the noise, it really makes it a special atmosphere. And, of course, everybody knows about the tradition of the cowbells. And this Saturday night being the SEC opener under the lights should be just an incredible atmosphere.
I know you got the cowbell yell coming up Thursday night.
We do.
Uh-huh.
In the stadium. It's a tradition we started a few years back. It's something everybody really prides themselves on here, and great turnout from students. And again, it's one of the unique traditions in the Southeastern Conference, and that's what makes this league so special. And I've heard so many stories of people passing their cowbells on to
that's awesome.
generations to come, and you really grow to respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Bill, what do you see as the keys for Mississippi State for them to walk off the field with a win?
I think always, and if you looked at the matchups, offensive line play. Can Mississippi State sustain a 4-quarter game up front against just an unbelievable LSU defensive line every year? That seems to be the common answer. And if you look at 2014, they did. They had a very experienced offensive line. This offensive line that State has is much better and much improved compared to last year and even the year before that. There's a guy named Martinez Rankin at left tackle who's probably a late first-round, early second-round pick, and guy Elton Jenkins at center who will likely be playing on Sundays in a couple of years. But to me, that's where it always has started because of what State likes to do from getting the quarterback in space and trying to sustain a 4-quarter game against such a great LSU defense.
Not to bring up a sore subject to LSU fans, but you stole Dak Prescott from Louisiana. You took Katon Thompson. He's probably not going to play unless things go one way or the other. But how has he played? So he's played in both games. How's he look to you?
One, I'll say this about Keaton. What a great kid.
Yes.
Such a great kid. I think he already has such a lot of respect of his teammates. And he actually got here after they won the state championship and Pete West Monroe. He got here a few days later and early enrolled here in January, went through spring ball. But he's got a ton of potential. And again, still a true freshman trying to learn Dan Mullen's offense. But he is way ahead of the curve, if you ask Dan, of where Dak Prescott was as a true freshman.
Thanks a lot.
He's got a good skill set that you can see in the future. He's going to be a guy that could be even, I hate to make predictions, but be a guy that could be up there with all those elite guys that have come through this program.
Quit stealing our players, all right? Stay up there in Starkville. Leave us alone.
Hey, they got some good ones too now at quarterback now.
I know.
Hey, Bill, let's talk about Dan Mullen. You've been around him for several years now. I've always viewed him as a no-nonsense guy, very focused on what he does. Talk about Dan Mullen, the coach that you've come to know, and going into your 4th year in Starkville.
Well, like I said, I got here in 2014, and I'm amazed at how he's such a smart coach, very detail-oriented, particularly offensively, just what he sees and kind of the way he plans a game in a week. And if you look, we get the most out of our players because we don't – there's one 5-star player on this roster, in Jeffrey Simmons, and we have a bunch of 2-star kids, 3-star kids out of Mississippi high schools and small towns who don't have the weight rooms and kind of facilities that some of the places are, and we have to get the most out of our guys. And I think that kind of blue-collar attitude, a little chip on your shoulder, and Dan's background, he's come up from a long way, and I think we play like that. We have a little chip on our shoulder, and he works just tremendously in the office, and then I think players really respond to him well, and really like him because look, he likes to have fun too. He jokes, and I'm sure everybody saw the cigar thing last year, but he has some personality, and he's not going to just be one of these mechanical guys, and he'll tell it to you just like it is.
Well, you walked me right into my next question. I always like to ask this. Give us something about Dan Mullen, not the football coach, not the guy on campus.
Oh, I know what
You've been around him enough. Give the viewers something about Dan Mullen they probably don't know.
How about this one? He is a diehard Boston Red Sox and Liverpool Premier Soccer League fan. diehard.
What?
Well, he's from up in Massachusetts.
Liverpool.
Right, Liverpool, because he actually spent a long time in Europe during his youth days, and believe it or not, he was watching the Liverpool game in the hotel in Ruston Saturday morning before meetings.
I just want to know this one thing. You arrive, they get to number 1 in the country. Has Mullen given you any of those kicks that he brings to SEC Media Days? Has he gotten you any of those?
No, man, I stick to the Johnston Murphy regular dress shoe line.
Okay, Bill, I understand. I understand.
Bill Martin, we certainly appreciate your time. I know you're going to see a lot of old friends on Saturday night, but 6 o'clock it'll be kickoff.
When are we going to eat and start? What's the place to go now?
Hey, Restaurant Tyler and the Guest Room.
Okay.
Guest Room Bar is one of the best, speakeasy bars in town. Unbelievable cocktails, bourbon, any type of bourbon.
Wait a minute, what do you think? Cocktail? I'm talking about food now. Come on.
So.
I got you, brother. I'm right there. Thank you.
All right.
Bill, thank you so much. We'll visit again soon.
No problem. Great talking to y'all guys. Hope you are doing well.
All right.
All right. That's Bill Martin. Quite the guy. He's went right to the bourbon location.
That's a bourbon spot. Come on.
All right, we're going to move along. We're going to take a little break, come back, get you some more Coach Orgeron still to come, a little Dan Mullen, as well as Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com on recruiting. Everybody always loves that recruiting stuff, and Mike's kind enough to join us each and every week.
I think LSU's going to get a Justin. There's 2 of them out there. They're going to get one of them.
Well, I
it may
would think
surprise
so.
you which one.
We'll talk a little bit later with Mike about that. When we come back, more of Coach O right here on Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
Surfing through the channels with his little remote, wolfing down Cheetos. I hope he don't choke between Monday night football and Friday night fights. I'm lucky if I get to see a show that I like. He never hears the phone or the doorbell ring. I don't try to understand him. It's a male thing.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com. Continue with Tigers Roar. Don't forget the original airing each week's a Wednesday night. Replays on Friday night, Saturday morning on the Pelican. Fridays and Saturdays on the ETEL cable system. And, of course, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcast. And I enjoyed the visit with Bill Martin, getting
Terrific.
folks ready from the Mississippi State side. We've got more of Coach Ed Orgeron answering some questions from the media Here is Coach O.
You're right. First time all season that your team will probably be under stress in a game. Are you curious to see how they respond to that?
We have to. We're playing the SEC West. It might be the first time, but it won't be the last. We're going to see how we respond. But I do believe we have enough veteran players. I do believe we have enough ability to respond with the deep ball if we ever get behind. We have the ability to run the football and match people's physicality. We can stop the run on defense. We get better on special teams, but obviously this is going to take 60 minutes from all three phases. Look at Mississippi State. The last 2 years we've been here, we get up on them. They get behind. They come back. They almost tied a game. Both games, I believe, ended on the last play or close to the last play. It's going to be a battle.
And you mentioned the other night how you look at other teams like Washington and the turnover deal. How much time did you spend on that, and what do you specifically get out of it?
How they getting them, especially how they getting them. And look at the techniques that they used on strip attempts, interceptions, pressures. Are they going 4-man rush, 5-man rush, full-out blitz? How are they getting their picks? Obviously, ball security is something that I think that we've done here very well. We haven't done a good enough job of creating turnovers. And in practice, it's more or less not exactly getting the turnover, but it's the strip attempt. I think the more attempts that you get, the more turnovers that you get. So we started gauging strip attempts every practice, and we have a goal of creating 3 turnovers per practice. And most of the camp, we've done that.
And how much time did you spend on that in the spring studying?
A bunch in the spring. I've studied that myself. That was my baby. And Derek helped me out with that. We studied film. We studied teams. Austin Thomas helped me out. We had the film, and that was kind of our little study.
Hey, Coach. Arden Key and his weight, I think fans got excited when they heard he was up to 250 or 260 or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you have a shoulder surgery, it's difficult to lift and everything, right? I mean, so was that good weight that he was bulking up on?
Not bad. We'll see. It's not bad. Again, before his shoulder surgery, he was a little heavy. He started gaining weight before his shoulder surgery. And I think Arden right now is close to 265. And so we definitely want to get him down to 260, 255, but it's going to take a little while to get that done.
Coach, we talked a little bit about your adaptive coaches and their ability to play off with whatever the opposition's doing. Have you ever had a staff like this where they both are so similar?
They're the two best I've been around. Now, I've been around Pete Carroll as the defensive coordinator and Jimmy Johnson, but these guys are very, very talented. They're different, and both their styles are different, their personalities are different, but the results are the same. Matt knows this offense like the back of his hand, and I don't think there's many things that startle him because he's seen it, and he knows what people are going to try to do to defend him. Although they may not show it that week, they can show it in the game, and he can make an adjustment like that. Okay, guys, they're doing this. We ain't seen them. Draw it up on the board. Here's what we're going to do, and they go to it, and they fix it immediately. And Dave is the same way. I've never been a part. Now, Matt's in the box. I've never been a part with a coach on the sideline that can see all 22 players when the ball is snapped and know what everyone did. You still haven't told me that secret. I try to figure it out, but the good part about offense and defense is it's not halftime adjustments. It's sideline adjustments, and we're doing it right now. And they're excellent at it. I'm glad we got them.
Coach, over here, when Mississippi State has the ball between the tackles, how do they compare to the two teams you faced already? And what is the status of your interior linemen on defense?
More physical. They're more physical. The year before I got here, at halftime, Mississippi State had 200 yards running between the tackles. That's when they're really good, especially with the quarterback run. Now, they had a quarterback named Dak Prescott that was pretty good. So we tried to eliminate that in our game plan, and we have to do the same thing this year. Obviously, if Rashard Lawrence don't play, we may have to move some guys around.
Coach, last year Fitzgerald didn't really do much against y'all. Another guy came in, put the scare at the end of the game. When did the light bulb go off for him, and what's the biggest difference in him now and then?
Well, I think it's another year in offense. Offensive line is playing better. They're doing things that in the offense similar to what we're doing with Danny, that he does very well. They cut out the stuff that he doesn't do very well. I think that's a combination of those things.
Over here, curious if you've gotten, or you feel you've gotten a good impression of defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State. Obviously, he had some highlights at Tech, but just as a guy with expertise in that position, could you kind of comment on what you see in him?
Yeah, I wanted to get him. He was one of my number one guys on the board. He's a difference maker. He's a first-round draft choice. He's coached very well. Number 94, he blocked a punt already. I've seen his stats. He's got a couple of sacks. Let me see his stats here. You got it right here. He has 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a sack, and a blocked punt already. He's a first-round pick. We got to know where he's at all times. Double team him. We need to protect. He's going to be a challenge for our guys. He's a first-round pick. But, you know, when I went to Mississippi State, I guess it was 3 springs ago, I was amazed at the size of their defense and their defensive line. They put out NFL players there. And the thing about Mississippi, as we all know, it may be a 5-star player, but you can also get a 2-star player from the Delta that nobody knows about. And he gains about 30 pounds, and he's an excellent football player. It's a great state to recruit, especially in that area.
Coach, when you look at Danny's film from this past week, do you see like maybe a couple throws when you talk to him, like against an SEC defense, this one might get intercepted, or you know, is that?
I saw a couple of throws that wasn't on the money at the beginning of the game. And we need to. That first out route was not on the money. We missed some throws in the red zone. We had some guys wide open, and we did not make the proper reads. So there's a lot of things to improve in that area.
Coach, I know it was 10 years ago, but do you ever think how different your life would be if you had punted the ball against them in that situation that you were in?
Yeah, and I thank the good Lord every day. It's just been a great journey. You know, I live like this, man. Whatever happens, it happens for a reason, and I move on to the next day. I should have punted the ball. It was an emotional decision. That's why I have mentors nowadays, especially when I get emotional, and I ask them, what do you think? And I ask Matt, what do you think? I ask Pete, what do you think? I ask Dave, what do you think? So those are the things I've grown in that area. But I will say this to you. We beat a team called Stanford, who was ranked number 4 in the country. And most people wouldn't have went for it on 4th down. We did, and they crowded the stadium floor. So those things can happen, but that was not a very good call. But I'm very appreciative to be at LSU.
As a follow-up, if that situation comes up again, how much more deliberative will you be in that kind of spot, or will you, go back to being a little bit of a riverboat gambler in that spot?
No, I'm punting. I want to keep this job. Anybody else?
Ed, can you go over each assistant and their special teams responsibilities?
Yes.
I think you got like 5 or 6.
No problem. Jeff Grimes handles the field goal protection unit. Chris coaches the holder, the snapper, and the kicker. Okay. The Geronimo unit is coached by Dennis Johnson, myself, and Corey Raymond. Dennis is the chief guy there. The kickoff unit is coached by Dennis Johnson. The punt return unit, which we call Charlie, is coached by Corey Raymond. The kickoff return unit, which we call house call, is coached by Mickey Joseph. And Steve Ensminger does a great job of assisting. All the assistants assist on every one of them. I think, the punt unit is coached by Tommy Robinson. What's that? Say again? Chris is our GA, our graduate assistant coach that handles the special teams through Coach Mack.
And McMahon man can't be on the field during the games, or is he on the field during the games?
No, he's not on the field.
Yeah, over here, it's more of an SEC question and a poll question. You probably disagree with this perception, but there seems to be one that SEC is a little top-heavy. You have Alabama #1 and then no other SEC team in the top 10.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Do you understand it, and what do you make of it?
Well, first of all, Alabama's done a great job. They deserve to be where they are until somebody beats them. You know, I really don't worry about the rankings at this time of the year because they're going to change, and they change in a hurry. And we just take it one game at a time. We know we got Mississippi State. To me, Mississippi State's the #1 team in the country. Right now, we got to go beat them. That's how focused we are. And all that stuff doesn't matter. I think the only time a ranking matters is when the season's over and you play the final game and you pick up the paper the next day. I think that's when the rankings matter. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
The rankings only matter after the last game. There's something to be said for that.
The last game of the regular season.
Yeah, because then it jockeys.
That means if you're up high, you got a chance to be when it counts in the Final Four. Yes.
I got a quick comment on that. Everybody's saying the SEC is not what they used to be or whatever because they don't have but one team in the top 10. I think the SEC is still the SEC. Other teams are getting a little better.
I agree,
other conferences are getting better. And that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to get better and beat those above you. So I don't know that the SEC is dropped off, as much as maybe the other teams and conferences have just gotten better.
SEC plays enough within itself that it kind of destroys itself from within, and that's just the way it works sometimes because all the teams are good, and it just happens. So we'll see. The days of getting two teams from one league in the playoffs, those are far, far and few between.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's trying to get the Big 12 back in there.
The SEC's going to get one. I can promise you that.
Oh, there's no question. All right, before we go to break, each and every week we like to recognize the Louisiana Sports Writers Association College Football Players of the Week. These guys vote on this stuff based on all the playing schools in Louisiana. And here's your winners this week. Junior quarterback Jordan Davis. He's the offensive Player of the Week for ULL. On defense, Alan Pittman, a sophomore linebacker for Tim Rebo's Nichols Colonels. He gets the defensive award. And special teams, DJ Shark, the punt return for a touchdown. Only the 5th time he's ever returned a punt in a college football game. And then, of course, he had the one for the touchdown, had another one called back. So a tip of the hat to Jordan Davis of ULL, Alan Pittman of Nichols, and DJ Shark of LSU. This week's Players of the Week, as voted upon by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association. We'll take a break, come back. Mike Scarborough, TigerBait.com. We'll talk some recruiting. We'll talk conference opener with Mississippi State right after this pause on Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
Hello. Hola.
你好。
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-718-3516. 800-718-3516.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. We continue with Tigers Roar. It's our pleasure to welcome to the program now Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. He'll tell you all about that in a little bit. Mike, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be with you guys again.
Quarterbacks. Justin Fields, number one dual threat quarterback in the country, apparently, on the sidelines. How did the visit go, and what are the chances?
Well, you know, he all the tweets went out and photos of him on his phone down on the field and looking like he was disinterested, got a bunch of old-timers and, upset and, trying to draw conclusions as to, him being on his phone in every photo that was put out there. But everything I'm told, and I talked to Chad Simmons, our Rivals recruiting analyst based in Georgia, close to people around him, LSU really did a good job putting their best foot forward with him. Great official visit. Not going to say that LSU leads or they're going to end up getting him, but I think that was a real positive thing for them to bring him in.
You're in the hunt.
The fact that he was there by himself for an official visit weekend, they were able to give him the super treatment and the nice meals and really roll out the red carpet for him and give him all their attention. So
you don't think they threw the ball deep down the field just because he was on the sidelines, do you?
No, but,
really? Okay.
I do think that they wanted to give him a real solid idea of the things that they've got that they're capable of doing and things that they want to do as that offense progresses and they get more talent put into it.
I think LSU's going to get a quarterback with the first name Justin. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Fields. I still think they're in the hunt for that kid up in North Louisiana who's committed to TCU, Justin Rogers, who's hurt, as is his teammate, best wide receiver in the state, Terrence. Is it Broadway or what is it?
Terrence Marshall.
Terrence Marshall. What do you think?
You may well be right, and it's. You get a season-ending injury like that, and you got a lot of time on your hands, and you get to reflect and see who's there for you and who's still making the calls, and that one sure could possibly get interesting. And I know that LSU, was keeping in touch and checking in on how he was doing, and after the injury, and so you really, in these situations, you watch to see who shows up for home games, whether it's unofficially or officially. And a guy like that comes down 2 or 3 times, and you're going to start to get an idea of what could happen.
Yeah, I think that's far from over. I really do.
Mike, anything else shaking on the football recruiting front?
Well, look, it's getting real interesting, but at the same time, that there's only so many spots left. So we want to see when the Traore kid comes in from ASA College in Brooklyn, the offensive lineman. You mentioned Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from Rummel was there on Saturday. The commitment to Florida. I know he's been committed to Florida for a while, but I just think that as this thing goes along and LSU continues to win, and I think they're going to be winning for weeks to come here. I think he's poised to flip, and I would put him in the probable category for LSU. So then you've got Surtain. We'll see about another running back in Harold Joyner, who will come in for an official visit for the Auburn game weekend. And then from there, you got the Anthony Cook from Texas. We'll see about him, but that's also battling Ohio State and Texas for him. So, but 2019 is also cranking up, and we've been out shooting the 18 and 19 class. We've got 4 video cameras out every Friday night. We posted Puka Williams' video, the running back from Hahnville that LSU offered on Friday, Kansas commitment. So there's still a lot of things that can play out, and you could very well have some movement before that early signing period takes place in December.
Mike, how do you see the matchup with Mississippi State this Saturday night in Starkville?
Man, one part of me thinks this could be an upset, but I see Dave Aranda's defense, and I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, but I hadn't picked a score yet. I kind of think LSU could blow this one open, but the part of me thinks that maybe that line is probably right, and this was going to be another LSU-Mississippi State close one.
Let's flip over real quick. Will Wade making another splash, went up to New Jersey, got a 5-star power forward, 6'10" kid. What do you know about Naz?
Well, it's Naz Reid. It helps when you've got a girlfriend on campus. And on top of a coaching staff and Will Wade that's relentless. And they get Smart, they get him. They got one of the top 10 recruiting class going into 2019 after he did what he did to finish off the 17 class. He's got 18, the class of 18 looking very good now. You got Caden Archie in Texas who's leaning LSU's direction. You got the Days kid in Gainesville, Florida that they've offered that it's looking good for. So then you still got the LeBlanc kid in Baton Rouge. That,
Madison Prep.
So, boy, it's you talk to more and more people, and the guys I know that are football, only guys, and they're going out and buying season tickets. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are looking like, but I know they've had to have a run on basketball tickets.
I'm with you.
Hey, Mike, tell everybody what's happening at TigerBait.com and why they should subscribe today.
Yeah, we got a lot of recruiting stuff for you, tons of high-definition video. We got Cameron Wires video, Puka Williams. Got Ray Parker from Ruston that I shot Friday night. We're loading you up with all the video to see what these recruits look like. So all of Brian Lazar's team coverage, basketball recruiting, we got it for you at TigerBait.com.
All right, Mike, as always, appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
All right, thank y'all.
Take care.
Mike Scarborough, he's got all the info. I mean, that's why we go with him. Appreciate everything he does for Pelican Broadcasting on TigerBait.com as well. He kind of didn't have a forecast for LSU Mississippi State. I'm still kind of trying to get a feel for it myself, Look,
it's
if we knew what we were doing, we wouldn't be sitting here. But
we'd
be on an island, somebody bringing us a cocktail.
Anytime you go on the road, again, you've got to control the line of scrimmage. It's the old cliche. You've got to control the line of scrimmage. No turnovers. You can't give the home team short fields and opportunities to score. If you do that, you got more talent than State across the board. you win the game. But that's not easy.
It's got to go happen Saturday.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, because, I mean, you were on the sideline for many, many years, and I'm sure we've all seen those games like, okay, this one's going to work out just fine tonight, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get out there and you go, man, this is a bad warm-up. This is not happening. And then you come out hitting on all cylinders, and I'm sure you experience that as a player as well.
There's no question. I mean, momentum can change in the blink of an eye. Just ask Ed Orgeron when he was at Ole Miss in that fourth down play that wasn't successful. They were up with
14-0.
14-0 with 10 minutes to play. And all of a sudden, Mississippi State, 17 quick points, and that was the end of it.
Right.
That was the end. So he can change in a hurry. Control the football, don't turn it over, and dominate the line of scrimmage. That's it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to let you hear from Dan Mullen. We've talked about him. We heard Bill Martin of Mississippi State speak about him. We're going to let you hear a little bit from Dan Mullen, the head coach in his 9th year in Starkville. We'll be right back with more of Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans. Internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jordy Hultberg for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
continue with Tigers Roar. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Krysan with you. Before we hear from Coach Dan Mullen, your thoughts on Coach Mullen as you've observed it over the years?
I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. Saban's at a certain level, and then I think Mullen's right there underneath him. I'd love to see him in a situation where he could have the same type of talent that the Alabamas, the LSU has. I think like a Tennessee would be a great place for him with the resources that they have. I think he's very talented. There's no question he develops quarterbacks very well, and he's a tough out.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Urban Meyer, but his record speaks for itself. Mullen was with him at Utah, was with him at Florida, Alex Smith, Cam Newton, Tebow. We've heard all the stories. Dak Prescott, who, LSU wanted him to be a tight end, and now he's one of the top players in the NFL, and he got state the #1 ranking, as we mentioned earlier. So Dan Mullen, it's Starkville, we know all the jokes, but you're right. This guy can flat out coach, and as Bill Martin told us earlier, this guy works his butt off. He's focused. He tells it like it is, and he works very, very hard. And I don't know how long he's going to be at Mississippi State. 9 years. That's long tenure in Power 5 conference football these days. So you got to tip your hat to him for that. I have come to really respect what he does, not just because he got him to #1, but when you watch a guy over a period of time, sometimes your opinion would change, and I think he's a top-notch coach.
As Bill said, they got a bunch of two-star athletes on there. Is there a two-star athlete? Is there a two-star athlete on LSU's roster?
Maybe a
They don't even look at him. No, they don't even look at him. So, again, he's a good coach, and he can coach quarterbacks. And in this game of college football, if you got a good one at that position, you got a chance in every game.
You want one more Starkville joke?
Sure.
NASA was considering moving their entire operation to Starkville. They wanted to go somewhere where there was no atmosphere.
Oh.
There'll
be atmosphere Saturday night. I hate to say
with
it.
the cowbell.
It's going to be crazy.
Here's Coach Dan Mullen in his 9th year as the head coach of the Bulldogs in Starkville.
Obviously, we got a little shift in going into conference play now this week. It'll be just different playing one of the best teams in the country. They have athletes across the board at every position, top-ranked, 4 or 5-star players, very, very talented football team. So for our guys, great challenge. Expect a great home crowd, home field advantage as you hope to get usually in SEC games, and should be a great environment, exciting time. So we're fired up.
The Matt Canada offense at LSU, have you seen a lot of differences? Because it appears they're still really a power running team. What have you seen from them?
Well, yeah. They he's built on running the football. And obviously they got some fantastic running backs. They got a good offensive line, but they are, it starts with the run game for them, the ability to run. And, they're going to do a great job scheming you of motions, shifts, unbalanced, movements, trades, all of those things to try to gain a numbers advantage to be able to run the football. And, and that's what's set. And then they set up the pass game off the run.
He's been a head coach in this league before, and now he's back home at LSU. Just what do you see out of Ed and his coaching style? Has he matured during his journey, or what do you see in him?
I don't know. Mature is a different word, I don't. Depends, we're all mature and immature. I guess it depends when you come see me. You come out of my boat with me in the summertime, I might think, boy, he hasn't matured much as a coach right there. He's out there surfing, having a good time. No, I think, Fred, I think Ed is has had the opportunity to be a head coach. When he had the opportunity to be a head coach. I'm sure he learned a lot from it. Didn't get the opportunity to do. I've been very fortunate here. I've made a lot of mistakes as a head coach, and I've been able to remain being a head coach to learn from a lot of those mistakes. Not everybody in today's world gets that opportunity, and so you're hoping you get a second chance, which he did, and he did. You see what he did at USC when he got that second opportunity to be a head coach and what he's learned to do, and and how to handle a program, and so. I know he's a great motivator, like Ed a lot. You can tell, even when he was, even as an assistant, a lot of times, whether, being a defensive line coach, but he was, a lot of times he's defensive line assistant head coach because of his personality, style, motivation, relationship with the players. He's that type of guy. I think guys want to be around. They enjoy playing for. And, and that's what has made him successful as a head coach at both stops, and or now his third stop being here at LSU, really as head coach. And I'm sure he's learned and grown from some of the mistakes he's made to really focus on the qualities he has that makes him a good head coach, which is guys loving to play for him, motivating, and that part of it, and then fix the other issues.
Earlier today, LSU said Arden Key is cleared to play, and this game hadn't played. What did you remember of him, and what's the plan for slowing him down?
I mean, for us, coming into the game, I've assumed he'd play in our game the whole time. It kind of just seemed like it was he was setting up to come play in our game through their first couple games, where they were resting him for our game. So he's probably one of the most dominant players in the league. It's just a mismatch. Has the size, speed, physicality to be a real strong run stopper, but is just extremely disruptive as a pass rusher, and can change a game. And he's a guy that when you scheme up plays, you got to really pay attention to, because you can scheme up. Okay, we're going to block this. You're going to block this guy. You're going to block this guy, and that might not work with him, because he can just defeat that block on his own. He can make things happen all by himself.
Don't forget, Mississippi State kicks off 6 o'clock on ESPN, the main platform, immediately following the game, the Pelican Sports post-game show with Buddy Sanji and myself. We'll hear from Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. We'll go to Starkville and get a report from Ronnie Rance of Sports Shorts Radio and Sports Shorts TV. 90 minutes, TV and radio. Get it on the smartphones, the apps, the tablets, the computers. 90-minute program, your phone calls, your text messages. TV repeats Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Some back-to-back areas in case you missed it. Also push it over to YouTube on Sunday as well. So don't forget the post-game show. We'll be here about 9:15. You know the drill. As soon as that game's over, come to us. We'll take our final break, come back, put a wrap on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. I'm Tommy Kryson along with Jordy Holtberg. We got one more segment to go. Stay with us.
Taste the feeling.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including OptiMap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, A Formal Affair.
Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Jordy, you going to the Superdome Sunday?
I'd love to, but no.
No?
Daughter has a soccer game. Can't do it.
I think there'll be a lot of people there.
Oh,
The home
absolutely.
opener, 0-1 Saints, 0-1 Patriots.
Come back, baby.
Kicking it off at 12 noon in the Superdome. We don't want to beat up
Looks
the Saints
bleak.
anymore. Let's just see what happens.
Looks bleak.
Come Saturday in New Orleans. Also, of course, LSU Mississippi State conference opener. Somebody's going to be 1-0 in conference play after this weekend.
I know what folks have to do. Those
What?
that are heading to Starkville got to stop at Tremonti's and get some of their sausage, their hamburgers, their steaks, bring it on the road, tailgate. They got everything you need for your jambalaya. Or if you're staying home, just go to Tremonti's at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. They'll get all your tailgating needs set.
A lot of people doing that stay-at-home thing, invite some people over,
Yeah.
everybody pitch in, whatever, and just fire up a grill and fill up an
fun.
ice chest. And
Fun.
if the game's no good, you can change the channel.
Bathrooms are closed.
Yeah, parking was kind of easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, LSU back home for a couple of weeks after this. We do know the Syracuse game on the 23rd will either be 6 p.m. or 6:30. It's one of those two.
good.
That'll be announced
Those
probably
8:30 games
Monday.
got to go. That's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough looking at Buddy
Too
Sanji after midnight, I can tell you. You know, we were all struggling with that around here, but
Oh,
we
God.
found a way to do it. Anyway.
You got a score yet? You know?
No, I don't. Last week I did, but I don't have it.
You're
Friday
bailing
on the
out.
radio, I'll come up with something.
Yeah, you're bailing out.
I'll be over at the Hooters on College Drive Friday. We'll come up with something over there. You folks are welcome to join us there. Hey, backing it up a little bit, I want to thank Bill Martin from the communications office at Mississippi State. Bill did a fine job, somebody you and I both know very well. He gave some recommendations, some really good stuff.
Restaurant Tyler's, way to go.
And we'll try to get somebody from Syracuse for you next week. Also, Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com. Appreciate him joining us. Don't forget the post-game show. We'll hear from Brian Lazar. We'll hear from Ronnie Rance. Most importantly, we want your phone calls and your text messages right after the game. Radio and TV. Don't have to wait. You can call and talk about it. Good, bad, ugly. It does not matter. We do appreciate you watching Tigers Roar, whether you catch the original airing or one of the replays, or you go to youtube.com/Pelican Broadcast. And any closing wisdom for the viewers?
17-14 LSU.
Wow, we got a 17-14 LSU.
Defensive battle, man.
Oh, he doesn't cover the spread with that one. Hey, it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll talk about it right after the game. Hey, it takes a lot of people at Pelican to put this thing together. We appreciate all them folks. Most importantly, thank you for watching. Thank you for spreading the roar about Tigers Roar.
I'm always wrong on this thing.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy, and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.